What is going on, Spurs Nation? What's going on, Spurs Nation? Welcome to Bucking Spurs Film Room Live, powered by Project Spurs and ProjectSpurs.com. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping in. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but had a lot of crazy little personal things happen all day, so couldn't get to it. Apologize, but here we go. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button as well. And there's a little bell down there as well that if you hit it, you'll get notified whenever more Spurs content is dropping here on the channel of Bucking Spurs. Thank you guys for stopping by. Now, really quick, as we start the show, support or submit your question. How do you do that? How do we get your question up on screen? You can do that all day, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the link in the description below. So in the description, there's a link. It's streamelements.com/a Bucking Spurs podcast /tip. And that's how you do it. So when you leave a question, you will be, when you leave a question and when you tip, it will be answered on the show. Okay. So on the next show that we do, if we don't get to it today, it will be answered tomorrow. All right. So if you leave a tip of $20 or more, I will not just answer your question. I will do a whole little video for your question. All right. So now that's being said, let's get to the film room. All right. So Spurs versus Memphis, November 11th, 2019. Let's go ahead and get rid of me and let's start talking about this game. So let's take a look at the box score really quick. Spurs versus Memphis, November 11th. It was a 4-point loss for San Antonio. This was actually one of the closest losses that we had between us two. We did have a 40-point win during the season, but I know a lot of people wanted me to go ahead and dissect that game, but realistically, let's look at it right here. Let's look at it right here. Pull that up for me. Okay. Oh my God. Here we go. Let's look at the 4 games that we played against Memphis this year. Okay. So in the beginning of the season, we did pretty well, right? In the preseason, that doesn't really matter. This is the game that we're going to be talking about early on in November. The Spurs did have a nice victory in December against the Grizzlies. Now, in this game, Lamarcus Aldridge went off for 40 points, and that's really the reason why we won. I would like to say that we did a lot of things well in that game, and really we only did one thing well, and that was get Lamarcus Aldridge the ball. He had 25 points in the first quarter, I believe, so that one really didn't give me a lot to dissect. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this game over here. And this one, we lost by 13 points against the Grizzlies. Right, so we lost, by 13 points here. This one was a 4-point game, so I decided to do this one. So let's get into it already. Let me go ahead and bring this down. Stop sharing the screen, and let's get to the footage. All right, here we go. Now, first things first on this game, what we got to talk about is that it was Tony Parker night in San Antonio. We were retiring his jersey. It was going to be a special night. I think the Spurs, in particularly chose this game so that the Spurs can probably get a W. They were looking at the schedule, maybe what was one of the safest game on the schedule, and it was this one. You know what? A little side note is that Tony Parker was 47-12 in his career against Memphis. So struggling with Memphis now, that's something new for Spurs fans. So let's get into it. First thing in this fourth quarter, where are we starting? The game is 84-91. We're picking up full court here. Now, this is the last play that Memphis kind of gets the Spurs with, and then the Spurs kind of go on a run after this. All right, so on this play, this is a nice play right here. Kyle Anderson, shout out to Slow-Mo. It's a nice 1-4 set, so they're going to bring up everybody high. If you see 1, 2, 3 players high, and here comes Ja Morant, and he does a nice job setting up DeJounte Murray. Look at all this open space back here. There's no help side defense. I mean, really, I don't think Bryn needs to be over here. Bryn maybe should be in help so he can be able to cut off the baseline. But he gets caught on a backdoor. Ja Morant gets a bucket, and we're off and going. Some of the matchups that we're going to have to worry about, I know Ja Morant is their guy. He's their young star. He's the guy that's going to be the bright future for that team. But Jaren Jackson is no joke. And we'll talk about a couple other matchups as we go along through this game. So let's look at this play right here that the Spurs run. The Spurs really like to get Bryn Forbes going. That's a trend that I saw in multiple games this season against Memphis. And for the most part, Bryn Forbes has Dylan Brooks guarding him for the most part. So Bryn should be looking to get his shot off a lot when it comes down to set games like Sacramento that we talked about last time and Memphis. Bryn Forbes is going to come up huge. We're going to need him to knock down shots. Okay, so they pick up the foul, so we're going to go ahead and insert Derek White in for DeJounte Murray. And this is where we really kind of get going. This unit here is a unit that I like. It's one that we might see more often in Orlando. Let's look at it. We got Derek White, Marco Bellinelli, Jakob Poeltl. I know Jakob Poeltl's on the hot seat right now, but Jakob Poeltl does a lot of good things in this game. And when we actually start closing this lead, if you look at the score right now, we're down, we're down by 9 points. And it was kind of like that the whole game. This lineup right here kind of took it by the horns and did something with it. Rudy Gay steps up as well, and Bryn as well. So that's who we got on the floor. All of these players are eligible to play in Orlando, and I believe going to Orlando. So this is a lineup that I really loved. It was effective on both sides of the floor. Derek White was able to kind of be the guy in charge. Obviously we're not going to put the ball in Bryn or Marco's hands to create offense. They're more of just the recipient of good shot selections and penetration and kicking out to open shots, the ball moving around. They knock down those shots. All right, then you have Rudy Gay, who's the vet, and they have Jakob Poeltl, who's the bruiser, the rebounder. So this is a really good lineup. I love this lineup. All right, so we're going to try to get Bryn going again. Like I said, little back screen here. I love how Bryn uses screens. Y'all want to know how Bryn has to use every single part of the screen to get his shot off. He's a small player. He needs to be able to not just run around and just have his guy chase him. No, he needs to set guys up. So he does a good job of setting the screen with Jakob. Jakob catches it. Derek White and Jakob get it going. They have a really good feeling with each other in this game. Here's a nice little pick and roll. And Derek White just reads Valanciunas right here. So right off this screen and roll, Valanciunas is put in a spot where he's going to have to play two players. Derek White just notices that. As soon as he sticks out this hand, Derek White's like, I'm just going to rise up right here and put it in the hoop. And here we go. All right, so good offense. And Derek White's in charge here in this lineup. A lot of the offense is going to be created from his hands versus him being on the floor with Lamarcus Aldridge or DeMar DeRozan, where the offensive flows through them. Let's see what this lineup can do on the defensive side of the ball. First up, let's look at matchups. Let's look at who's guarding who. Valanciunas is a problem. He's a guy that can give you a double-double every single game. He's, I think, averaging like 15 and 10 or something this season, so he's having a great season. Rudy Gay's on our guy Slow-Mo over here. Marco Bellinelli's taking care of Hill in the corner. And then you have Bryn Forbes and Bryn Forbes guarding Dylan Brooks. Bryn Forbes and Dylan Brooks might be the key matchup of the game. I know that, Brooks is not going to kill us. Jaren Jackson will kill us. Ja Morant has the potential to maybe kill us. Valanciunas is not going to kill us. We know who Slow-Mo is. He's not really going to be a guy that does us in, but the reason why I bring up this matchup between Bryn Forbes and Dylan Brooks here in the corners is because Dylan Brooks really does it all for Memphis. He gets them going. He makes the right plays. He can score the ball as well. He's able to create his own shot, and he goes at Bryn. They go at Bryn. Memphis goes at Bryn often. So that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on moving into Orlando. Here we go. Let's see what they got going on in this play, and let's see how we react. Something that Jakob does that Lamarcus Aldridge does not do, and that's something that we're going to talk about later in this quarter when Lamarcus Aldridge checks in the game. but Jakob does a great job of trapping ball screens, right? So this is something that we expect to see when we go back to Orlando. At least in my eyes, we will. But why? Because it's very effective. And this unit here on the floor, seasoned, smart. Bryn, I want to say, is our best help defender consistently. Derek White obviously is great too, but Bryn always shows early. He's probably communicating with you as well out there. He's always ready to help and rotate. So he's like the trigger on the gun that always has to go and rotate. And Belly's also doing a great job in this game as well. All right, so here we go. Here's a high pick and roll, and we're going to trap that thing up high. So this is a nice trap right here. Now, at this point, everything is going to shift over. We're trapping up here on the corner. That's exactly where you want to trap. How many times do we see an NBA team trapping? Like we never see it. It's because it's hard to do the spacing, the rules, and all that stuff. It's just not easy to do. But this is a very good trap, and I'm kind of a little bit disappointed that Jakob kind of bails out of it right here and takes off, because you hold this. If we have Ja Morant here in the corner, we do not let him go. Now I know what he's thinking: show trap, and then find his guy, so everyone else can kind of fix themselves. But he kind of bails out a little bit early. If you can see here, the Spurs had everything under control. Marco Bellinelli was doing the right job. Don't get on Marco for having bad defense. Look at this. If he does not rotate over here, that's a wide open dunk for Valanciunas. Okay, so good trap, good help by Marco, and then Rudy Gay is playing high. So this trap right here is designed to force Ja Morant to make this skip pass over here to Kyle Anderson in the corner, which he does. Okay, now that's why I'm saying there's no point of Jakob bailing out of this trap when it was so good. I mean, look, everyone's covered. Ja Morant has option 1 right here in the Dillon Brooks. Bryn is doing a good job of being in a deny, ready to take that pass. Marco Bellinelli would have been able to make this catch difficult for Valanciunas. Valanciunas caught it. I mean, it might have been a bucket because of the mismatch. But Rudy Gay was also playing up high. Who is it? That's up here. Hill is going to come over and try to help, and that would have been Rudy Gay's steal. So everybody's covered. Great defensive possession right here. But we bail out a little bit too early. Allow the skip pass on the catch. Marco does another good job. So don't get on Marco. Marco does a good job here showing help. Now, look on this skip pass. Look at him react. Everybody on the court's yelling, skip, skip, right? So Marco's going to chase out to the corner to somebody he's very familiar with in Kyle Anderson. Makes him rotate the ball. Good job. Rudy's there, ready to close out and force the drive. Marco shows help again. Don't tell me Marco's a bad defender. Look at this. I've seen it. There's proof that Marco's a good defender. Now, if you put him on an island with James Harden, yeah, anyone's going to get cooked, all right? But good contest here by Belly. We get the rebound, and that's a great defensive possession from San Antonio. Now, all these guys are here, and they're all coming to Orlando, right? So I would love to see this lineup on the floor. Now, how are they going to fare offensively? This is a really good defensive lineup, sure. But let's go ahead and run through it. High pick and roll with Dillon Brooks. I'm telling you, they're picking on Bryn Forbes, sorry, and we're going to pick on Dillon Brooks on the offensive end. That's going to be one of the matchups that we're going to see. All right, so nice little pick and roll here. Pick and pop here. This is actually a good shot here for Bryn. I like Bryn taking this one with confidence, right? Anyways, good kick out. We're going to go ahead and get Marco up top. All right, let's see what happened here. All right, here we go again. Derek White, Jakob Poeltl. Really good 1-2 punch here in a pick and roll. And that's just Derek White reading the defense. All right, here we go. Go a little give and go action. And Derek White is going to go ahead and show that he's been working on his three-point shot for a while. He's probably saying, check out my G League highlights. He's like, I used to knock him down all the time over there. So good shot by Derek White. Last 2 buckets by Derek White, if you're keeping track. Right, so after that Ja Morant backdoor on DeJounte Murray, Derek White's kind of taking over this game. So let's see what the Spurs do on the defensive side of the ball on this possession. Little off-ball screen here, nice communication between Jakob and Rudy Gay. Good job by Bryn getting around Kyle Anderson on this handoff. Now, again, we talked about it. Jakob Poeltl is a guy that's going to be able to trap pick and rolls. Again, this trap right here, I like it, but it's not. It's what's his name? Brooks does a good job of just kind of stopping early and getting rid of the ball. I think they're probably communicating that we're starting to trap. They're reacting a little bit early, but it's another defensive possession where the Spurs can go ahead and build on this momentum that they have right now. Right. So Kyle Anderson, that he's smart. He can get a bucket when he wants to, but he's out there to make the right play. So we got to be able to help and rotate and be ready to be on a string defensively and to close out to shots. Now, is this John Morant in the corner? This was early on in the season. I think he started shooting this shot a little bit with a little bit more efficiency towards the end of the season. But it's a good job in here from Marco and Jakob Poeltl getting after this rebound so we can get the ball and go. Now, Rudy had struggles early on in the season. I don't know if you remember. He kind of came on a little bit later, came on hot, but, this is a nice possession. I'll take it from Rudy. Rudy does a lot for us. He can get himself a bucket. It's a good screen by Jakob. I mean, Jakob's going to make every screen on these guys hurt. He's going to make sure he feels it. So that's a good screen. There's a couple people open right here. Derek White's open. Who's this? John Morant and help. He's going to go ahead and dump off right there. He could have kicked to Jakob or whatever. So, all right, nice possession by Rudy. I'm not mad at it. But let's get back in transition. So off of this bad shots, now, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, a lot of film that I see this year, a lot of games that I've been looking at, the Spurs don't really hurt ourselves that much in the turnover column. I think that was more last year than this year. But what did hurt us was our shot selection. When we did take bad shots, now we didn't take many of them because we're getting the ball to Lamarcus Aldridge. We're getting the ball to DeMar DeRozan a lot of the time. But when some of these other guys start taking some shots, we're in trouble. And our bad shots lead to good possessions for the other team, just like right here. Questionable shot by Rudy Gay leads to Kyle Anderson, doing a slow-mo thing. Smart. He's used to playing on this floor. So he goes to the free throw line. Now, Kyle Anderson, look at this guy. Kyle Anderson is focused in on this free throw. He came out with a vengeance in this game, which is I kind of think this was his game, like saying, you know what, I got you, San Antonio, for getting rid of me. He knew, I'm sure it was Tony Parker night. So it's kind of messed up, slow-mo. Kind of messed up. I think he wants this game. Look at him. Look at him. He's ready for this game. He's ready for it. All right, so let's kind of keep it moving here in the fourth. All right, so far in offense with this lineup, I like what we've been doing defensively. Now, offensively, it's got to be in Derek White's hands. All right. Now, something that we do, and in a little bit, DeMar DeRozan's going to check into this game. The Spurs do like to run this set. They like to post entry, and then they like to just create out of this right here. There's a lot more player movement, players moving around, getting other players open. Right here, slipping picks. But really, what all Rudy Gay is waiting for is for someone to be open so he can kick this thing out and get in a bucket like he does here. DeMar DeRozan does this all the time. We run this play for DeMar all the time, and he finds shooters. Last year, he was finding Davis all day. I remember with this one right here. Davis would just knock him down just like this. So good shot for Bryn. And and that's the set that we like. All right, so they call a timeout. We're cutting this lead down to 2. All right, so good run here for the Spurs. Good job on defense and a great job on offense. And that's a lineup that you may not expect to work all that well because, a lot of us say that, Bryn Forbes and, a lot of people say, I want to say me in particular, but a lot of people dog Bellinelli's and Bryn Forbes' defensive capabilities. Sure, they're not the greatest, but they don't necessarily hurt you just because they're on the floor. Look, they just played a lot of minutes together and had 3 or 4 great defensive possessions in a row. And a lot of the reason why they were great possessions was because Marco Bellinelli was in help or Bryn Forbes was doing his thing as well. So again, what does Jakob do on ball screens? We're going to pressure up high. That means that the help rotation has to be there. That's a good job here by DeMar DeRozan, taking away Valanciunas. That's going to be an action that I guess Memphis runs a lot. they like this one here, and they try to get Valanciunas. We just got to make sure that our help defense is there. They call Valanciunas, DeMar DeRozan on a foul here, but Jakob does a good job of getting a hand on this ball. This was about to be a fast break for San Antonio, but the ref decides otherwise. So let's keep it moving. All right. Let's take a look at this defensive possession here as well. Now, in this game, there's about 8 minutes left, 2-point game. Big possession here. We're trying to cut this lead, make it disappear, and maybe tie it up. Another great trap up high, something, again, that we're going to see a lot of, and I think this is something that worked really well here for San Antonio, and I would love to see this in Orlando. You know, Jakob says that he wants a bigger role, and I kind of agree with him. You know, I understand where he's coming from, because he can do a lot of these things, like play a little bit higher up on the perimeter versus some of these other bigs that we have. So, I mean, there's place for him here, but it's not up to me. So earlier I was talking about Rudy Gay, how we like to feed him on the block and kind of create out of that offense. Well, DeMar DeRozan does the same thing. DeMar DeRozan is able to kind of get to the block and he's not even looking to score right here. He's trying to see who's open, finds them. Derek White does a good job of just catching and getting to the rim. So this is a 7-0 run from Derek White that we're on right here. Earlier in the beginning of the fourth quarter, John Morant got a bucket. Other than that, I don't think they've scored, and Derek White's just kind of taken over this game. Okay, so really quick, let's get back to the clicker that's on the screen. A lot of you guys are asking about the questions. I'm doing something new today. You can go and click the link down in the description below to submit your question. And once you leave a question, when you tip, I'll answer it on this show at the end of the film room, or I'll get to it on the next show if I don't have time. If you tip $20 or more, your question will be turned into its own video on my channel. So that's that. Let's get back to the fourth quarter. Okay. Now, good possession there from San Antonio leads to a tie ball game here between these two. Great defensive possessions here in the fourth quarter by this unit. Here's another mistake. I mean, how many mistakes has this unit made on the floor in the past in this whole quarter? I mean, not many mistakes, to be honest. So besides a foul by DeMar DeRozan when he checked in the game, you know, that one kind of stunted our momentum a little bit. But they're going to go at Bryn Forbes like we talked about. So that means that Dylan Brooks and I think Tyus Jones is their backup point guard. Those two guys are going to be the guys that are going to kill us. I mean, we know, I hope you know what I'm talking about. Remember, like, when we played Phoenix and Dragic just killed us in the fourth quarter? You know, they have, you know, that one matchup that can just ruin you down the stretch. I feel like it's this one. It's Dylan Brooks and Bryn Forbes and Tyus Jones as well. So he does a good job of getting around Jakob. Jakob maybe needs to go ahead and hit the sideline, you know, start coming towards the sideline here on a line instead of riding Dylan Brooks on this bump. He could have got called for that if this ref wanted to, but he didn't. So he's a little bit lucky there. So Dylan Brooks takes the attempt. Good contest here by Marco Bellinelli. Good tip out here by Jakob, but we can't come up with the rebound. And this is just a great look from John Morant, man. I mean, from a rookie to be able to get this ball right here, find a shooter, that's a nice dish right there. It's a nice dime. And you know what? Hill knocks it down, right? So this is a good shot that comes from what? A defensive error from San Antonio. It was an offensive rebound. We should have came up with it, but we couldn't. And it's those little things that make you pay. I mean, this is the pros. You know, you get consequence for your errors pretty much every time. So we just got to limit those as much as possible, because that's a great defensive possession. If we can get that rebound, we're solid. We're going to try to get DeMar DeRozan going here. This is going to be one of those pin down plays that we can get a shot in the corner. DeMar DeRozan comes off this screen here. This is a nice play. You know, the playbook that San Antonio uses, it's so fundamental. You can use it at any level. I use a couple of these plays with my squad. I stole a couple inbounds plays and whatnot. Maybe I'll show those. I'll compare those to one of these days. All right, so we're gonna bring DeMar DeRozan up top. This is a great action right here. You bring him up high like Memphis did to us earlier in this game, and we're gonna get DeMar DeRozan going. But there's really gonna be a shot that's gonna come in the corner for Bryn Forbes. So all the attention is over here on DeMar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 guys paying attention to this, and rightfully so. This is a good defensive squad here by Memphis. I think the coach over here for Memphis was an assistant in Austin, if I'm not mistaken. So just another Spurs tree coach out there doing a great job with another organization. DeMar DeRozan goes ahead and takes this baseline. We're setting up this back screen here for Bryn Forbes on Dillon Brooks to get this shot open. And look how wide open this is. This is a play we've seen in and out many, many times for San Antonio. But for some reason or another, DeMar DeRozan kind of, has to adjust his passing angle because of Jaren Jackson. It's good defense, makes a tough catch for Bryn Forbes, and results in a turnover. All right, so great play, missed opportunity right there because this is a big possession. We're down 3, so we called this play. Pop called this play so we can tie it up. That's why we called it. We needed that bucket because the last thing we need is for Memphis to turn this momentum into something positive for them, which they do right here. 3 ball. Now Crowder, I don't know who he was barking at, man. But I mean, later on in this game, he gets into it with Lamarcus Aldridge, and Pop has kind of had enough here. Because it's been about 2 or 3 bad offensive possessions in a row, which have led to buckets for Memphis. So it's not necessarily that this lineup here did a bad job on the defensive end. They really didn't. They did a great job. But once DeMar DeRozan got checked in this game, things changed. I don't want to blame it on him, but it was when he committed the foul on Valanciunas that you were watching earlier. That's when the momentum shift happened, right? In this fourth quarter, the Spurs are doing a great job right now at fighting back in this game and trying to get the Grizzlies to fold here on Tony Parker night. But Crowder does a good job of just knocking this down. Now look at Marco's pissed. Derek White's here taking out his shirt, like, dang, man, like y'all. That's how quickly things can turn in the NBA. All right, so Crowder's feeling himself a little bit. Here's a good take by Derek White that we saw earlier. Him and Jakob work really well. I mean, Derek White is just a great pick and roll player, point guard, and not necessarily, he's never trying to get his shot off as option 1. He lets the defense tell him, what's going on. All right, so here we go again. Dillon Brooks, this is later, a few more possessions. Fast forward. I fast forwarded a little bit. It's 99-96. It's a 3-point game. Dillon Brooks again. I mean, how many times are we going to see Dillon Brooks take wide open shots in this game? I'm telling you, if he's missing, we're in good shape. We can feel good about ourselves because as good as who's on the floor right now, Ja Morant is, and as good as Jaren Jackson is, they don't go to them that consistently. Now, later on in the season, I was looking at the game that we played them in February a little bit, and Jaren Jackson was way more involved than he was here in November. This was early on in the season. Both of us starting off brand new teams pretty much. We had a lot of struggles early on. Memphis, they figured it out early. But early on, the coach, smart of him to not kind of put it all on their shoulders as young players and maybe asked other guys like Dillon Brooks, Jay Crowder, and was supposed to be Andre Iguodala to go ahead and step up in that end. So they did. All right. So anyways, Bryn Forbes, he's going to have to hit shots. I'm telling you, if Bryn Forbes is going to stay on the floor and if they're going to be picking on Bryn defensively, he needs to do what he did in this game. And that's hit a lot of big buckets. All right. So that's a big shot for us. We finally get to tie it up here. All the momentum now is going to, the crowd's into it. Things are starting to go our way. Now, we talked about pick and rolls and how Jakob Poeltl guards them, right? So here's a pick and roll involved with Lamarcus Aldridge. In February, Jaren Jackson shot the ball really well from 3, in particular right here. And it's kind of this shot right here. Ja Morant started looking to pass to him off this pick and pop, and he was knocking it down. That's a good take, man. Good take by a rookie point guard. Reminds me a lot of AI. Um, his ability to take off right here and get to the rim kind of shows that. I think it's a good take by John Morant. Let me see why. Where was the help? Where is the help here? Help comes from Bryn. That's Bryn's help, but he should have committed to it. You know, he played the passing angle right here. Wide open bucket. All right, so maybe a little questionable decision. Not too bad. Bryn's been doing great all game. Here comes Rudy Gay checking back in for Marco. All right, see what we do here on the offensive end. It's 99-101, 6 minutes left to go. I'm going to fast forward a little bit, try to get to about 4 minutes. Oh, that's too much. Excuse me. Oh my God, didn't mean to do that. All right, last 3 minutes of the game. Let's see who's here on the floor. We got Derek White, Rudy Gay, DeMar DeRozan. All right, that's that same unit. More pick and rolls with Derek White. Again, very smart pick and roll player. Is never going to force the issue. Finds Rudy Gay. Nice catch and rip here. With a really sweet finish there by Rudy Gay. Dang, Rudy. See, a little few far in between from Rudy this season, but he still got it. Look at that. Oh, that's dirty. That's a good take. That's 2015 Rudy Gay right there. 2014. All right. Where are they going on offense? Ooh, Jay Crowder, DeMar DeRozan again. You know, in these last few possessions, something that I did want to talk about is how we kind of let this game just walk away from us. We didn't even give it away. We kind of just walked away from it. And I'll show you in these last, let me see, there's 2.5 minutes left to go in this game. We have the lead. It's 107 to 108, but there's a tipping point where it all spirals out of control. And I think it's right here. And we rarely do anything good from this point on. Obviously, you know, DeMar is angry at this call. He's reacting a little bit too much. I would like him to just stare down that ref and be like, for real, you know, like don't let it bother him. You know, that's something that I wish he would do a little bit more for us is kind of not let the call affect his play. And if you're telling me that he doesn't, we might find out different right now in a few minutes. All right, so that was a big possession. It's all right. We can keep it moving. It's tied up, 108-108. We're going to go to DeMar. Now, this is a great play right here. It lets DeMar catch on the wing with his dominant hand, able to drive with his dominant hand on this side. All meanwhile, there's a lot of player movement around and allows for him to create as well. We're just going to set a back screen here for Bryn Forbes. We're going to set Lamarcus is going to set kind of like a backward screen here for Derek White coming around the corner. He's going to catch. Nice pick and roll here from Derek White. That's just a great play. There's a lot of movement happening here. Should be able to find plenty of shots. Now here's a big shot that Bryn, you know, doesn't make, but he's been playing hard for us this whole fourth quarter. He's rarely come out of the game at this point, and it's big reason why we're even in this game. Towards the end of the third quarter, it looked like it was going to be another 10-point loss for San Antonio. All right, so yeah, I'm zooming kind of fast here. Again, matchup of the game. Bryn Forbes, Dylan Brooks. It's tied up, and there's 2 minutes left to go. And Memphis is going to Dylan Brooks on the block. Why? Because they're trying to take advantage of Bryn, but Bryn can hold his own. But we got to rely on our teammates here. We got to rely on good help defense. So Derek White makes sure that this isn't going to happen, right? Good kick out here. Tyus Jones, good contest. Derek White is probably one of the best guards in the league at contesting shots. I believe that. And we can get the ball and we can go. Well, maybe. When we give up offensive rebounds, usually that turns into a 3-point bucket from Memphis, right? So turnovers leading to open 3-point shots will kill us. Jay Crowder's feeling himself. I already talked to you about that a little while ago, and I think right here he's telling Rudy Gay something as he's stepping back. He's like, yeah, that's going in. That's cash money. All right, so here we go. Again, great defensive possession. How many great defensive possessions have I shown you where we just don't come up with the rebound and then boom, that's 3 points. All right, so right off the bat, that kills us. It's a 3-point game, 108, 111, but plenty of time left on the clock. There's a minute and 48 left to go. All right, so what are the Spurs going to run here? They're going to run, get Lamarcus the ball, and see if he can answer for us. Greatest play that we had all season long. And he gets to the free throw line. So good. Oh, no. They called that on the floor. It's a terrible call, ref. Terrible call. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this ball inbounded. What's the look here? Oh, this play right here. Okay, so this play should have worked. I really like this play. This play should have worked. But the spacing here is kind of compromised. Derek White starts coming up a little bit too early right here. See, Derek White needs to stay in this corner and let Tyus Jones be here in this help spot, because Tyus Jones helping on Lamarcus, that's not enough to stop him, and that shouldn't be enough to stop DeMar DeRozan too. But Derek White kind of reacts a little bit early here, brings his defender up. Now this action right here is a little bit too crowded as well, because Derek White should have really been in the corner, barely coming up right here. So there should be more space here to operate. That's why spacing is so important. Usually not something we see the Spurs have a problem with. And this play kind of causes them to be a little bit congested, but that's okay. Derek White needs to take advantage of Tyus Jones. Derek White, he is a FIBA athlete. He's played against some of the best competition in the world. Tyus Jones should not be a factor in this game. And I'm going to leave that to Derek White to take control of if he's going to be guarding him and they're going to be guarding each other. Again, this was Derek White coming off the bench. And towards the end of the season, we saw, DeJounte and Derek playing a little bit more together. It's a good look. Not the best offensive play that we need, that we call right here. Obviously, we're down 3. There's a minute and a half. We need a bucket, right? We need a bucket. So we draw up a play, and we call it this one. Didn't go the way we're supposed to. I'm pretty sure we didn't call for this play to get Derek White a step back 3, even though he hit one earlier. I'm not saying it's a bad shot. I don't mind it. I just kind of mind it right now with a minute and 21 seconds left, down by 3. I don't think it was designed for him. I think it was designed for Lamarcus Aldridge or DeMar DeRozan to get a bucket. Here we go. Here's a off-ball screen here to get Jaren Jackson moving towards the block. They're going to try to post entry here, right? Can't get it because Derek White's doing a good job of sagging off, right? That's good communication here on the defensive end that Derek White falls here. Tyus Jones, he can shoot it. I know he can, but really you got to play him to drive and contest the hell out of his shot. I mean, don't let him see any defense. All right, here we go. I mean, don't let him see any daylight. I'm sorry, defense. Good contest. What did we just talk about? Derek White's a great contester of 3-point shots. That should be his avatar name. All right, so we're going into Lamarcus Aldridge again. We're not going to be able to do this in Orlando when we play Memphis. So that's something that's going to hurt us. Again, I think he kind of has his way with Memphis most nights. One of the times that we did play him, again, he dropped for 40 points. Valanciunas can't guard him. Jaren Jackson can't guard him. No one can guard him. So on the Memphis Grizzlies team, not in the world. Okay, I'm not saying that. But where are we at now? All right, so good. We got a bucket there from Lamarcus Aldridge. Missed a free throw. Free throws kind of hurt us down the stretch. If we want to start counting them now, that's one missed free throw from Lamarcus. 3-point game. All right, again, going at Bryn Forbes. Nice little dribble handoff. Brooks is going to contest that jumper. He's going to go ahead and shoot that jumper. Good contest here by Rudy. Makes it a tough shot. Again, we give up the bucket. What happens when we give up an offensive rebound we've been talking about in this film room? Nothing good for San Antonio. Tyus Jones pick and roll here. Nice find for Jaren Jackson in the corner, and he can shoot that thing. So the last 3 offensive rebounds that we gave up, it kind of seems like Memphis is like, okay, every time they get one, it's almost like they're coached and trained to to find a 3 ball out of it and knock it down. So that's killing us right now. We did a great job this whole quarter of trying to fight back in this game. It's a 5-point game now, and let's see how the Spurs respond. There's still some time left on the floor, and in San Antonio, we play until the game is over. We'll fight to the very last second to get a bucket. Now, usually, right, in this game, not so much. All right, so they're talking about if he's out of bounds or not. They take it away. Oh my God. They look for any opportunity to show this Memorial Day miracle. That's okay. That's a great shot by Sean Elliott. But they took that bucket away from Memphis. So another opportunity. What a great opportunity for San Antonio. There's 27 seconds left. It's our ball. Down by 2 points, man. We should be able to take this right here. The Spurs of old would have been able to capitalize off of that that happened right now with that 3-point bucket being taken away. We're going to go ahead and look to DeMar DeRozan on the block. It's a good take right here. Doesn't get the call. DeMar DeRozan, when he doesn't get the call, he lets it affect him in a few different ways. Now, I don't disagree with them. Look, Jay Crowder gets him right here. Push on the back. And then right here's a lot of body with Valanciunas. Right there. Right? So that's 2 fouls in my book for DeMar. So I'm not disagreeing with DeMar DeRozan that this should have been a foul. No, I'm not. Valanciunas does do a good job of coming over his arm right here. You see this right here? That's more contact. There was contact 1, 2, at 3 different points, which doesn't allow him to kind of get whatever he wanted to do off. And he's angry at the ref, and that's a big possession. But it only took 2 seconds off of the clock. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with DeMar. This should have been a foul, but we have to keep playing. And the Spurs actually do a great job of getting into a little pass defense, full court trap defense here. But this is a good decision here by Tyus Jones to get the ball out and rotate it fast because we have to foul now. So we're fouling them. We're putting them at the line. It's okay. There's still 14 seconds left. Plenty of time to get some shots off and try to get back in this game. Knocks down the free throw there. See how he does the second one. Brooks knocks it down. So they're not missing free throws. We've missed how many just in the last few minutes? I think we missed 2 free throws. All right, so just think. We could be down 1 or we could be down 2 right now, but instead we're down 3. Okay. Let's move forward to see what the Spurs draw up here. Spurs are down 4 points, 14 seconds left. Still plenty of time to draw something up and get a quick 2 and play the foul game. We know we do that all the time in San Antonio. How many times have we been in this situation right here, down by 4, 14 seconds left? We're drawing up a quick high play to get a backdoor action to the rim and try to get an easy bucket from Manu or someone cutting backdoor. And then, there's 10 seconds left and we foul, we put them on the line again. That's an example of something we used to do. But we get the ball in here. We go to DeMar DeRozan. And check this out. Actually, we do what I just talked about. We spaced out the floor, let DeMar go to the rim and try to get a quick 2. And if you tell me that there's contact there, I'm going to disagree with you. But this ref is going to call it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you call a makeup call. That's exactly what you call a makeup call. From DeMar getting hammered, let's go back, right? Let's go back to this. Let's go back. Rewind. Okay, right before this possession. Whoa, did I go back way too far? Yeah, sorry. Sorry, guys. Way too much. When the possession before, DeMar got laid out, right? A few times. And now, on this possession, the ref's going to go ahead and make this call. I'm sorry, I rewinded for nothing, but here you go. That is a makeup call. The whole Houston bench knows it. Look at him. Look at Valanciunas. Look at Valanciunas. Okay, yeah, and no one can believe it on the court. Jaren Jackson has been. Look at Jaren Jackson. Jay Crowder, they're just going nuts. They're just going nuts. But hey, what a break for San Antonio, right? So the Spurs are down by 4. We get an opportunity, a call that should not have been called. But what are we going to do with it? If we knock them both down, then it's what? It's 10, 11. It's a 2-point game, 9 seconds left, plenty of time to still play the foul game. All right, well, let's see what happens. Wow, they overturned the call, so it ends up being a jump ball scenario. Right, we're down. We need a 3 ball, so it's quick. We get the tip, and the best shot we can get right here. There's 5 seconds left. I mean, come on. Like, the game is not over, even on this possession. We're down by 4, 9 seconds left, right? We get the tip. Everything has gone our way in the last 4 or 5 possessions, but we have not been able to capitalize on them, right? And here's another one. You're not telling me that we just inserted Bryn Forbes in the game so we can get this one pass look 3 ball from DeMar DeRozan. One of his, 8, 10 3 balls that he shot this season. I'm not sure what that is, but that's the shot that we get. There's still 5 seconds left. What are we doing? This is not the shot that we take if we're trying to win this game. That's all I'm saying. So it's a 4-point game. Yes. Do we need things to go our way? Yes. But technically, like you just saw, a lot of things were going our way, but we could not capitalize. We needed a quick bucket here. We needed to score either a quick layup or a shot needs to go down, a 2 or a 3, and we need a foul with like 2 seconds left, and then we don't have no more timeouts, so we need a full court press after that, right? So I don't know about this shot right there. I wish we could find another one. And you think it's over, right? There's a second left. You think it's over. But psych, check this out. Memphis gives us another opportunity because Lamarcus goes in there and kind of pokes at Jay Crowder, who I just told you was feeling himself all game long. He hit us with a couple of daggers there late in the fourth quarter. So he's feeling himself just a little bit too much. And right here decides to just bark at the ref for not calling a dead ball and gets teed up right there. So again, we get a technical foul. Great. What does that mean? That it's our ball and the possession. A second left. How many chances have we had here in the last 4 or 5 possessions to get back in this game or take the lead? We blew a couple free throws. And we just blew a couple of opportunities to take advantage. And here we are again at the free throw line. Big shot here. This shot here can make it a 1-possession game for San Antonio. DeMar doesn't knock it down. Now, I'm not saying he did on purpose. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is that we needed that shot, and it didn't come. And it ends up in DeMar's hands again to get this one off. So we had every opportunity to win this game here at the end. Very unfortunate that we were not able to do so. Just to let you guys know that are watching, if you look at this banner right here that's clicking on the bottom of the screen, says support or submit your question for this current show or the next show 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The link is in the description below. If you go ahead and click that link, you can get sent over to my tip page. What you got to do is leave a question when you tip, and it'll be answered on the show or the next show that we do. And if you want to tip Bucking Spurs, you want to help us out even more and just support what we're doing over here, tip $20 or more, and I'll do your question, and I'll break it down into its own video for you. So you can do all that. All the information for that is in the description below. So go ahead and head over there as well. Brand new. This is a new thing I'm working with here, stream elements and stuff. So I'm really excited for this opportunity for you guys to engage with me and support me as we go through this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit to the comments. I'm looking at the chat room. That thing's not really firing up right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the live chat room and see what you guys going on. Anthony Duran wants to know, what kind of role do you see Tyler Zeller playing in the bubble? He's going to be playing the Jakob role. The guy, he's just going to rebound, set screens, get putbacks. You know, if DJ or Derek is driving to the rim, hopefully Tyler Zeller can be there to be the recipient of a nice dish. He's not going to have a big role, but I know he signed up till next season, I believe. So he's locked in for a little while, and that's good security because with Lamarcus out and Jakob going through what he went through, you know, these past few days with his comments, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of depth there. Appreciate your comment. Love from Brazil to all Spurs family. Thank you, Eduardo. Appreciate you stopping by. Let's see what else we got here in this chat room. Make a video on Dedrick Lawson. Find that tip jar link down below, and then we'll talk. We'll talk, okay? Thank you guys for hanging out with me. This has been the film breakdown of San Antonio's versus Memphis on November 11th, 2019. I know the beginning started off a little bit rocky, but this is how we're going to do things now on this show when it comes to getting your questions on screen. Let me take that one off. You got to go to the description below down here, and you can find the link, and that's where you're going to go. All right. And drop your question. I'll be glad to answer them on this show or the next show live if I get it live, or if not, on the next one. All right. So appreciate you guys. You can go to robtrejr.com/bucking Spurs to check out what we got going on over there. Go to projectspurs.com. Check out what they got going on. This has been a Bucking Spurs live film room. Thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate y'all. Adios.